So just some reminders before we get into the video. First reminder is to make sure that you're keeping an eye out and an ear out for the keyword for this lesson. Reminder number 2 is to make sure you're taking notes. Include the date, lesson number, aim, and standards to help you refer back in your notes. Let's get to it. So we are back now. We are in lesson 11. Our aim is how do we simplify expressions by using exponents laws. So we are going to be getting into 8th grade material in our lesson 11. So we're just going to review our exponents. So our exponents is repetitive multiplication. So when I give you an example, I have 4. Let's try 2 to the 3rd power. Two is going to be the base. And then we have 3, which is our exponent. So when you write 2 to the 3rd power in expanded notation, written all out with repetitive multiplication, you're taking the base number and you're multiplying it according to the exponent. So I'm going to multiply it by itself 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So 2 to the 3rd power is 8. We're going to be using exponents, so we need to be familiar with the form of exponents, so whether it is written in exponent form or expanded notation. Depending on the exponent, it's easier and simplified or simpler when written in exponent form, 2 to the 3rd power. We're going to be learning about 2 rules or 2 laws for exponents today. The first one is the product rule. So when you think about product, you think about multiplication. You want to multiply. That's what we're going to be doing with our exponents. So let's say we have 2 to the 3rd power times 2 to the 2nd power. We have it in exponent notation, but let's write it in expanded form. So we have 2 to the 3rd, so we did this already, 2 times 2 times 2. And then we're going to be multiplying again, bringing this down, 2 to the 2nd power, so 2 times 2. If we count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can rewrite that and simplify our exponents with 2 to the 5th power. Do you notice anything? If you didn't, that's okay. If you did, it should have been that your exponents were added together to get your simplified version. So that means if you rewrite it in with variables, we have x to the a power x to the a power times x to the b power. You're essentially saying x to the a plus b power. So here the rule is going to be to add exponents when you're multiplying exponents with the same base. And again, they have to have the same base. That's super important. Same base, and you're adding when you have multiplication, when you're multiplying them. All right, let's go to the next rule. We're going to use the quotient rule, which is basically saying we're using division this time. So if I give you 4 to the 5th power divided by 4 to the 3rd, which can also be rewritten as 4 to the 5th divided by 4 to the 3rd. Those are the same. When we expand this is what we're going to get. We're going to get 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 for a numerator. 4 times 4 times 4. And that represents our 4 to the 3rd power. If you watch what happens when I cancel, 4 divided by 4 is 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So we have values that are going to cancel each other out. But then look what you are left with. We have 4 times 4, which can be rewritten as 4 to the 2nd power. Do you notice anything with the quotient rule? So with the quotient rule, if you rewrite it in terms of variables, we have x to the a power divided by x to the b power. You can rewrite it as x to the a minus b. So here we're subtracting exponents. Making sure again that there's the same base. But here we're going to be dividing our exponents, so we need to subtract them. Let's try it. So the first question is asking us to simplify. So we are going to check, do we have the same variable? Yes. But now we have coefficients. 3 and 4. Knowing our product rule, we're going to add our exponents. Knowing that the variables are all the same and our bases are all the same, we know it's going to stay as a v. We have 4 plus 2 plus 5. What do we do with the coefficients? We have 3 and 4. With 3 and 4, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply them because that's what would have happened. So 3 times 4 are our coefficients. So 4 plus 2 plus 5, we're going to get v to the 11th power. Because 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 5 is 11. Then we have our coefficients, which is 3 times 4, which is 12. So our answer is 12v to the 11th power. Number 2, we have division. So this is our quotient rule. With our quotient rule, what I like to do is separate our coefficients. We have 2 over 10, and then x to the 7th, x to the 4th. So what we have here is 1/5 if we simplify, and then we have x 7 minus 4, which is x to the 3rd power. You can rewrite it as your 1/5 as your coefficient, or you can rewrite it as x to the 3rd over 5. Either one of these will work, and they will be both equivalent in your answer for number 2. Remember, we're subtracting our exponents. For quotient laws, and then we have product where we're adding our exponents. Let's move on. Number 3 and number 4. Try on your own, and then we're going to come back and go over the answers. Okay, so number 3 is a quotient rule. I personally separate my coefficients out as a fraction. I can simplify them later. I have n to the 8th power over n to the 5th. I know this is going to become n to the 8 minus 5. Negative 4 6 simplifies to negative 2/3. So negative 2/3 n to the 3rd power. Again, I can rewrite this as negative 2 n to the third over 3, negative 2n third over 3. These all work. For number 4, I have 3 different bases. So that means I'm going to separate them. A to the 8th power over a to the 3rd, b to the 5th power over b to the 2nd, times c to the 3rd over c to the 3rd. C to the 3rd over c to the 3rd just is going to be 1. B to the 5th divided by b to the 2nd is really b5 minus 2. A 8 minus 3rd power. So just rewriting everything, and anything times 1 is it's going to be itself. We have a to the 5th power times b to the 3rd times 1. So we can leave it. And that is our answer. So here we have the quotient law. That is basically it. I hope you noticed what the keyword for this lesson was, and I will see you guys in the next video. Just make sure to write any of your questions down, and see you then. Bye.